Excitement brewing on both sides. The most anticipated season of high school football just moments away from kicking off. An assorted list of stuff to cover pregame. The Dan Anderson era is officially over as the team transitions into the regime under new head football coach and CC graduate Justin Cessante. The opening of a brand new Jumbotron scoreboard in the south end of the field. A lot of digital advancements, slews of advertisements present, and a whole new vibe has been growing around this team. Some new faces and some returning, but one thing remains the central theme as we progress towards game time. Shamrock football returns tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, joining you from the press box of the Elm, you are watching a live broadcast of the Dearborn Pioneers and the Catholic Central Shamrocks, brought to you by the Shamrock Media Team. For those of you who are tuning in at home, I'm Josh Rother, alongside the best partner in the whole business, Lucas Straish. And before we focus on this upcoming season, we're going to start with last season.
Last season, Dearborn began with a couple of losses in the first three against Belleville and Franklin. As the season progressed, the Pioneers gelled together. They rattled off 6 consecutive wins, including victories over Stevenson, Novi, and other KLAA opponents, to get to the district semifinals before meeting the Shamrocks. In a game where it appeared the Pioneers dominated the entire game, Dearborn was unable to punch in on 4 consecutive goal-to-go attempts, and Catholic Central won 26-21, ending their season, maybe a bit more prematurely than they would have hoped. Definitely leaves them with a bitter taste in their mouth, since the last time most of the Pioneers were on the field, they were across the sidelines from the same foe they take on tonight.
Yeah, and it was a taste of sweet victory for the Shamrocks that had advanced all the way to the third round of the playoffs last year. The Shamrocks dropping their first matchup last year at home to the Big Reds of Chippewa Valley 24-20. Before righting the ship and winning their other 2 non-conference games, including high-scoring affairs versus Davison and DeWitt, the latter being an absolute overtime thriller. We called that game. CC then took their first 2 Catholic League tilts against U of D and Brother Rice, but on Boys Bowl weekend they were absolutely dominated by De La Salle, 28-0. Shamrocks would get back on track but succumb to the eventual champion Belleville Tigers in the state quarterfinals with a 33-10 loss in that charringly cold temperature game.
That was a rough one. Next, we can compare the 2 teams in the stats from last season. Very similar across the board between the 2 squads, with Dearborn being a little better on both sides of the ball statistically. Dearborn's high-powered offense will definitely not be the same this year. Its quarterback Abin Sala signed on with Northern Michigan last fall. Same goes for Catholic Central's heroic defense. Playmakers Braden Corser and Beckler Hauser have both graduated, along with corners, safeties, linebackers, D-line. They lost a lot of players on that side of the ball. It's going to come down to physicality today. Lastly, in division, the Pioneers took 3rd in the KLAA East, while the Shamrocks finished 2nd in the CHSL Central.
Yeah, and speaking of the CHSL Central, it nearly doubled in size this offseason. That's right, the addition of 3 teams from Toledo, Ohio will increase the conference schedule from a mere 3 games to 6 games. The new additions being Central Catholic, St. Francis de Sales, and St. John's Jesuit. And that CHSL Central got a lot bigger this offseason. The new members partially rebrand the division but completely alter it. And, of course, we expect the rivalries will be just as intense. Time now to look at tonight's tale of the tape.
Tonight marks just the first regular season matchup between Dearborn and Catholic Central and the second ever matchup after last season's playoff game. The 26-21 victory for the Shamrocks was highlighted by the staunch defense that held the Pioneers 4 times at the goal line and shut them out in the entire second half. It's worth noting that both squads have made the playoffs for 3 consecutive years.
Yeah, and an interesting fact I was able to dig up earlier this week, Dearborn has never recorded a win in 6 games against CHSL opponents, while Catholic Central would rather play every single game against a KLAA opponent. They are 38-5 all-time against the KLAA. Let's go to the conference standings from last year in the KLAA East. The Pioneers finished in 3rd place behind the state champion Belleville Tigers and the Franklin Patriots. Catholic Central finished 2nd in the CHSL Central behind D2 state champion De La Salle, but ahead of both Brother Rice and St. Mary's. And finally, we arrive at the most important part of every pregame. Lucas Straish will take you through his keys to victories, both sides tonight.
Let's start with the Pioneers. They used a very deep playbook last year in that playoff game, able to turn out a lot of chunk plays down the field. They're going to have to use that trickery and creativity to their advantage so they're able to move the ball more efficiently. Next, Adam Saad should get a healthy dose of touches. The more he has the ball, the better chance Dearborn has to win this game. Lastly, it might be self-explanatory to protect the quarterback, but CC is banged up in the secondary. Using an extra lineman to exploit this could be the push that Dearborn needs to win this game. For the revamped Catholic Central team, it starts with the veterans. Their guards hold 50-pound advantages over the Pioneer defensive line. Lloyd has already looked really strong in practice, and this matchup would be on Matthew Berry's love list. Young defensive line and completely overmatched by the Shamrocks' towering starting lineup. I like the front seven as the next most impressive unit for the Shamrocks. Solid trio of linebackers backs up the defensive linemen. They will need to rush the passer, but also keep the run game in check. Lastly, Cam Lloyd is the starting running back for CC, and for good reason. Get used to hearing us call his name. It's going to be all season long.
It is going to be a long season for sure, and it starts right here on the Shamrock Media Network. Don't go anywhere. You'll miss the action. Pre-game festivities winding down. The band's on the field. Shamrocks Pioneers kickoff is next on the Shamrock Media Network.
We're very proud and excited to announce our latest development as CC. It'll be a new STEM wing. This new development, the STEM wing, will give us more opportunities to enrich the learning experience of our students.
It's going to house 8 different labs. We're going to have an observatory. We're going to have a dedicated greenhouse. We're going to have a robotics space and a maker space. We need to upgrade, and this is the perfect way to upgrade for us.
If there's an opportunity to do something better, we have a responsibility as educators to do that for our students.
This space will be something that we'll be able to utilize for the next 50, 60 years with whatever new technology or whatever comes down the road. This is a difference maker. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a difference in every student that comes to Catholic Central, and I couldn't be more excited not only for our current students, but especially for our future students.
coin toss, and they deferred to the second half. Dearborn will start with the ball, and it'll be a little bit interesting to see what Dearborn does after losing their quarterback, Adam Sala, graduated last season up in Northern Michigan now. At which quarterback they're going to deploy here to start this game. They kind of had 3 listed on the roster, but don't have an official starter listed. So just about 2 minutes away, we'll go live once again after the convocation and the national anthem, and we will get ready to get underway here. You're listening to the Shamrock Media Network, just moments away from kickoff. All right, a couple of notables before we start the game. Once again, Dearborn will be receiving the opening kickoff. The Shamrock inactives today, Dwayne Johnson out with a labrum injury. Dylan Young and Mark Alarcon also inactive today. Limited in practice this week were Josh Rude, Nico Genrich, and Lee Krieger. Genrich is expected to play tonight. Josh Rude is questionable or going to be limited tonight. We heard from him today saying that we're going to see more of Austin Kersey and River Cheney in the secondary. So a little bit of a banged-up secondary there between Genrich and Rude. And then Lee Krieger is expected to start at linebacker today for the Shamrocks. He was dealing with a little bit of a neck injury early in practice this week.
I mean, linebacker was a huge strength of this team last year. And we got 3 new starters there in Aiden Quinn, Kyle Ewing, and Kruger. So we'll see how they play.
Deep for the Pioneers for the opening kickoff is their running back Adam Sod and their wide receiver Corey Johnson. Jake Mategan, the place kicker for the Shamrocks, wearing number 13. Also on special teams, you'll see the long snapper Lee Krieger and the punter Kyle Ewing, who was also a defensive starter. A lot of versatility between these starters. Just moments away from the start of the 2023 season. "48 minutes of high school football is officially underway. Sod from the 10-yard line with really no running room there. And he is swamped by multiple Shamrock defenders. Looks like Cheney delivered the initial hit. Piden in there to clean it up. And Dearborn will start their first possession of the night at their own 22-yard line. Just a 12-yard return for Sod. And we take a look now at Dearborn's offensive starters. The quarterback for Dearborn is Hussein Hami. Hands off to Posse, who gets laid out.
We were talking about that linebacking core, and that second unit got to the line of scrimmage really quickly there. Held him for a gain of maybe 1.
Yeah, they'll give him a yard. And we take a look at Dearborn's starting offense. Hussein Hami, you see on the left side of the screen. He's starting at quarterback instead. Isan Chami in the backfield. Brady Isaacson, a name to watch for the tight ends. And then, of course, that line kind of young, a little bit overmatched as the handoff here goes to Chami again up to the 25. Swamped again. The front 7, very impressive to start this one.
We thought we were going to see a lot of Sod here, but the first 2 carries have been from Chami.
And it looks like we're going to see some kind of rotation here between Hussein Hami out wide and Adam El-Sursi at quarterback. El-Sursi lining up in the shotgun here, and you also got Michael Bazzi lined up out wide. Isaacson, the tight end. Shamrocks going 5 DBs here. Dropping back, El-Sursi chased out and brought down. Stone Cheney, the captain, getting the sack and forcing the 3-and-out for the Shamrocks on the first possession of the game, and the defense looking very impressive on their first drive.
Yeah, we did not see a lot of Stone Cheney last year, hampered by injuries all season long, but he made the most of that first drive, sacking. It'll be 4th and 14 for the Pioneers.
Rami Faki is the punter for Dearborn. And deep for Catholic Central, Samson Gash, who lit up the scout training camp with a 4-4 40-yard dash, and he drops the snap, flags down anyways. False start on Dearborn.
This is a dangerous spot for Dearborn, especially with an electric returner. As you said, a 4-4 40.
18. And short kick here. Gash will not even field this, as it's going to take a Pioneer bounce And it'll stop at the 48-yard line. 9:49 to play in the first quarter. As we take a look at Catholic Central's offensive starting lineup. Offensive line, you've got Rob Wiersbicki, Cal Rutherford, Bryce Porter, Mason Perry, the center. And skill position, they're going to go five wide receivers to start this. And Dearborn, flustered already, is going to call their first timeout of the half.
Little trickery there. They lined up 5 out wide and then came into more traditional under center. This sort of pistol formation, but Dearborn didn't like what they saw on defense. They're going to burn a timeout. Oh.
And then the starting quarterback for the Shamrocks, Bo Jackson. Pretty impressive sophomore numbers for Jackson. 12 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 4 interceptions, 3 fumbles, and just under 1,200 passing yards for the sophomore, now junior. Of course, his competition, Skylar Hunter, transferring to De La Salle in the offseason, competing with Sante Gasparoni for that job. And they go from 5 wide to the 3-back set. Jackson will give to Cam Lloyd. Lloyd off to the races on the first, and he trips up, picks up a first down.
A lot of trickery there. I feel like we're going to see a lot of that 3-back set. It's almost like very reminiscent of Shamrock football about 20 years ago.
Run the wham.
Going to start a more traditional here, 3 wide.
Yeah, of course, Lloyd's first run last year was a 60-yard run, which ended with him tumbling into the end zone, but the ball coming out at the 1-yard line. Play action, flags out.
And that's going to be the problem with running all that motion and trickery on offense. You're going to be prone to a lot of those false starts.
Be interested to see how they use the receivers. Just so much speed between Genrich, Gash, and Andrew Kitchen. Seen Genrich more line up in the slot in practice this week. Jackson takes the snap. Screen pass out to Genrich. Genrich with some running room, and he's brought down at the 36. Tackle made by Kyle Singleton, one of those Dearborn defensive starters. As we can take a look at Dearborn's defensive starters here. Headed on that defensive line by two-way starter Ali Homied and Brady Isaacson. And that linebacker core, Sereni, one to watch. And then Singleton making that tackle for the secondary there. But CC moving the ball efficiently with gains of 11 and 9 on their first 2 plays from scrimmage, offset by that false start. Jackson will hand off to Lloyd, running in between the lines and picking up a first down.
So the last 2 plays for the Shamrocks, they've gone 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, the set, and then 2 receivers out wide, Andrew Kitchen and Nico Genrich. And that tricked up Dearborn there. So they had 2 guys out wide on the right side and really only 1 cornerback there. So Dearborn was hustling to get another corner out there, and it left a wide open lane for Cam Lloyd. So he got the first down.
And so Kitchen will run off. And now Cessante will use a timeout. A little bit of confusion here on both sides. And now he will rescind the timeout. I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nathan Semp checks in. He's lined up wide. Genrich in the slot. Jackson, a little bit of a miscommunication between him and Cam Lloyd. Lloyd will lose a half a yard. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Not really a clean exchange there between Jackson and Lloyd, and he'll be stopped for no gain.
We've already seen a lot of receivers in. Shamrocks have rotated 4 different receivers in, plus Samson Gash, who's returning punts. Looks like they might be wrapping him up on the sideline.
And you got Nico McBride checking into the game. They're going to go bunch trip set to the left here. This is what we saw when Bile would throw to Cohan a lot a few years ago. McBride through the wickets on the screen pass. hate to see that happen.
Looks like it's already starting to get chippy there. It's a little bit of a late hit from Hassan Serini. And Nico McBride wasn't happy about that. To exchange some words. Fizzled out, but early in the game, I mean, this is a Dearborn team that is probably still remembering that loss on their home turf in the playoffs.
So something we've already noticed a lot different from Dan Anderson Shamrocks last year, just a lot of substitutions. And now the timeout will come from Cessante, as I think the substitution's really confusing the wide receivers. This might have to do with Samson Gash being on the sideline. Probably the #1 receiver on that depth chart. Beautiful day for football. Thought it was going to be a little bit hot. Not a little bit.
Yeah.
There was possibility these games were going to get canceled because of the heat index, and turns out just fine. Nice and overcast. Games going on around the league tonight. The opening day for Michigan high school football. And a rematch of the 2022 district semifinal game. So a very big play here. Catholic Central 3rd down and 10 from the Dearborn 28. We've seen Metegan hit from 53 in practice, but again, the game is a whole different beast. Jackson will line up under center with a trip set to the right, and now we have
another Pioneer timeout.
We are not even 5 minutes into this game, and we've already seen half of the timeouts come off the board. I mean, this is a crucial play,
I know.
but
I think this early in the game, I'm not sure if I understand using 2-year timeouts here. 4 minutes and 48 seconds in.
Draw back to last year when Anderson actually drew Chippewa Valley's coach to take all 3 in the first quarter. Well, we've seen Bo make some pretty good throws last season, connecting with DJ Lee multiple times, but of course it was the connection with him and Brady Blakita that was superior. Blakita obviously graduating and going to Wayne State to play baseball. So Jackson under center. They stay with this trip set to the right. 2 tight ends, Rogowski and Pyden, and another flag.
You could tell
Pyden moved.
Looks like he had the count wrong. But Cessante early on has been in that 12 personnel. I mean, you have a tight end the size of Kale Rogowski. Played tackle last year. It's almost like a sixth offensive lineman. And then you get a guy like Pyden who's so versatile. He's back up at quarterback. He can play tight end, playing safety on defense. You want to get him on the field as much as you can.
So this 3rd and 10 has become that much harder. Now 3rd and 15 is the second Shamrock penalty on the drive. Bo in the shotgun. Cam Lloyd has been the featured tailback for the entire first drive.
7-12 on the clock. Cross 1, 7-12. Clock is correct and official.
Jackson in the shotgun. Pyden in motion. Jackson looks, throws, McBride open, and oh my gosh. Butterfingers once again.
It's his second drive. Second drop on this drive, excuse me. The field goal from here would be about 52 yards, 53 yards, which is what you're saying. You've seen him make in practice, but that's such a tough decision to send your kicker out here.
I don't think it's worth really punting it here.
I'm not opposed to keeping the offense on the field in this situation. That looks like what
you pull out the NCAA football 4 verticals here. Dearborn's a very bunchy group. They got a lot of big guys up front, but their secondary isn't as deep. They're going to go 4 wide receivers here. Lloyd the tailback, Pyden and Genrich in the slots. Looking. Jackson steps up in the pocket, rolling out. He's going to run for it. Jackson on the move. And he's going to take a hard hit. And he's well short of the first down. Gets up okay, though.
I think that's a good decision by him. You need to get that first down, but you also need to make sure you're available for the rest of this game. Could have took a big hit, but it could have been that much worse.
And so Jackson picking up 11 of the 15 needed, and it'll flip over the turnover on downs back to the Pioneers.
It's about 17 more rushing yards than he had all last season. So the offense with some explosive plays early on, but unable to get anything on the scoreboard.
3 wide receivers to the right. That's Saad in motion, lining up more out wide. Flags fly. Cheney with another time in the backfield.
Flag there. Looks like it's either going to be a holding or
looks like it was thrown
an
almost
offside.
pre-snap.
Yeah. Maybe someone was lined up in the neutral zone.
Procedure penalty. Loss of down.
So the Shamrocks declined the penalty, obviously. It was not pre-snap, so 2nd and 10 after the no gain from.
Must have been like an illegal formation. I'm wondering if one of those receivers was off the line.
Saad in motion again. And they give to Chami, pushing forward but brought down. That's Kyle Ewing in there on the stop. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Don't usually see a guy who starts at linebacker and punter. That's what Kyle Ewing
Very
does
rare
for this
combo.
team.
One of the greatest. About halfway through this first quarter.
It's a big play for the Shamrock defense. They got that early stop. You got to see if you can foil the Pioneers once again on this drive. Give the offense good field position.
3 yards the line to gain. Quinn pouring off the edge and getting the stop, and he's going to get called for being in the neutral zone. And that's a costly penalty on 3rd down.
Looks like the edge rushers were trying to time the jump, and they were just a little ahead of the snap count there.
And Coach Joe Mack will let him know about that. Elsersee in the shotgun with Chami to his right. Saad comes in motion again. Takes the snap, gives it to Chami. Chami is swarmed by Kyle Ewing, making the stop once again. CC sending 5-6 guys past the front line every play.
Dearborn lost about 3 yards on that play. It's a good job by that defense. You allowed the first down off a penalty and just get right back there and take those yards back.
No score in this one, 5-12 to play in the first. Here, Justin Cesante's head coaching debut at the Elm. The 22nd ranked Catholic Central Shamrocks. Elsersee in the gun. Chami, the featured back. It's going to be a quarterback keeper, and Cheney meets him. Dearborn's net yardage. The negative outweighing the positive right now. Cheney has been in the backfield now twice, getting credit for a tackle for loss there after his sack on the opening drive.
Just a really good play by Cheney. Did not bite on the handoff, the fake handoff, I should say. Saw that the quarterback was keeping it and just made a great read on the ball.
Third and 15, Elsersee. And another penalty. False start on Dearborn will make this even tougher. 3rd down and 20.
Definitely something you can expect in an early season game like this is a lot of procedure penalties, and we've seen that on both sides of the ball. False starts, legal formations, offsides. Hopefully once we get into the second quarter and into that second half, this game will be a little cleaner.
their movement down the field has not been impressive yet. Elsercy in the gun, looking, moving up in the pocket, and he's brought down from behind. Cal Rutherford, an all-state selection his sophomore season at Plymouth High School for defensive end, played offense all of last season, gets to play on both sides to start the season here, and he picks up a big third down sack. Fourth down and forever for the Pioneers.
And a really good sign for the Shamrocks. Looks like Samson Gash is deep to return this punt. So hopefully we'll get to see him on offense a little bit.
Faki's punt is deeper. Gash will field it from the 43. Makes a man miss. Gash cuts up field. Flags fly. There's no way anyone's going to stop Samson Gash for the moment. He has a 57-yard punt return touchdown.
We have,
and I think Sereni,
Samson Gash steals the punt from his own 45. There is a flag.
there's
on
an
the play.
injured Shamrock. Could have an illegal block behind the back.
Good loss for injury.
got a lot to sort out on this play.
Can't really tell who the injured Shamrock is. Gash showing off that explosive speed we just mentioned.
Looks like he's waving the penalty off. Or no. Picked it up, waved it, and dropped it back on the ground.
A lot to sort out here. I mean, Gash makes that initial man miss, and then it's off to the races. And not too many athletes here can run a 4.4 40-yard dash. Samson Gash is one of them.
It is going to be an illegal block in the back, so that play is going to come back.
I don't see 21. That would be Jaden Pyden if it's 21. But I don't know. I can't see the number. I don't want to make that. I don't want to say that. That's a 5. Jack Murphy, 25 maybe? Yeah, Murphy, 25. Jack Murphy, the injured Shamrock, holding his ribs. And the Gash punt return touchdown is waved off. An illegal block in the back. So, in total, he'll gain 2 yards. And the Shamrock offense will instead get a chance for their second drive tonight.
The first and 10 Shamrocks from their own 45.
I formation on first down.
So the Shamrocks will start from their own 45-yard line.
Jackson gives to Lloyd. Lloyd is brought down by Brady Isaacson and Ali Murphy off the edge.
You mentioned how this Dearborn D-line is going to need to step up as they're undersized compared to the Shamrock team, but they did a really good job on that play of filling the gaps and not allowing Cam Lloyd any room to break through that line.
Bo Jackson to start this one. 1 for 3 with 9 passing yards. Again, both of those incompletions drops to McBride. So he has looked very comfortable and very pinpoint accurate to start this one. Lloyd in motion. Jackson fakes the swing, going to go back to Samson Gash, and he is going to pick up a first down. Gash getting space and doing what he does best, yards after the catch.
Brought down the play.
Elite playmaker for the Shamrocks this season.
It's just a really good play design on that one. A lot of misdirection with sending Cam Lloyd from the left all the way back around the quarterback. And Jackson looked his way at first, pump faked it, and then back to Gash for the screen. And he was able to pick up 11 in the first.
And now the number 2 running back on the depth chart, Lee Krieger, finding space, running room left sideline, pushed out of bounds inside the red zone. Pardon me, pushed out of bounds at the 23-yard line, a 21-yard gain for Lee Krieger in his first carry of the season. Backing up Cam Lloyd, that Shamrock offensive line looking stronger than ever. in the early going.
And they did a really nice job on that play, just opening up a big hole for Krieger, and he did not miss it.
And they want to go fast here. And the officiating stopping. So we're having issues with the clock here.
Once again, license ESN 1725. You are at risk of being towed.
Double motion here, but from Rogowski and Pyden. Jackson takes the snap, gives it right back to Krieger. Krieger finding a hole and moving ahead, picking up about 7 more. Solid 2 chunk runs from Krieger.
Stopped on the play by Kyle Singleton. Gain of 7 on the play. Second down and 3. And the Pioneer 17.
And Dearborn's defense really has had no answer for the run game so far. CC averaging 8 yards per carry.
Also haven't really gotten a lot of breaks when Dearborn's offense has gotten in the field. It's been a pretty short time. Gash and Genrich lined up to the left.
But it'll be Krieger for a 3rd straight time, finding a hole. Krieger into the end zone. A Shamrock touchdown for Lee Krieger.
Bursting through the hole. And the guy who really their second option running has made the most of those 3 carries on that drive. When your shortest carry on a drive is 7 yards, you're feeling pretty good about your performance.
Shamrocks having options out of that backfield like they have in years prior. Mo Jafer, Spencer Lyons, Evan Hager, some of the best backs over the last few seasons. And now Lee Krieger and Cam Lloyd sharing the love here, getting Catholic Central on the board first. Jake Matigan out to attempt the extra point. Casimir Moyer, the holder. Lee Krieger was the long snapper listed. Low snap. Matigan's able to knock it through. An impressive job by Casimir Moyer to catch the snap off a bounce. And Catholic Central takes a 7-0 lead with 49 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Scoring drive of 6 plays and 55 yards.
Shamrock's just about ready to kick it off to Dearborn, who needs to find an answer on offense, to be frank. They just have not been able to move the ball downfield consistently. Their only first down was off a Shamrock miscue.
Just 1 total yard thus far.
It's not going to cut it.
Johnson received deep for the Pioneers. Jake Matigian to kick off for your Shamrocks.
Saad and Johnson back deep to return. It'll be Matigan kicking it deep. And this one further than the first. Saad will receive it from the 3. Tries to go out wide and gets wrapped up. This time it's John Almeida, the track star, in competition for the 100-meter state finals this year.
Stopped on the play by John Almeida.
Took 2 years off of football. Comes back as a gunner return man. He's the 3rd string running back out of West Catholic. Short gain on the return, only 12 yards for Saad.
If I'm not mistaken, he runs under an 11.5 in the 100.
I think it might be under 11 even. I mean, he's
Very impressive.
the handoff goes to Chami, and he is brought down. Rogowski and Ewing both in there on the stop.
The ball carrier.
Chami had to do a lot of work on that play just to get maybe a yard. The Shamrock defense has looked tough so far.
Short gain, 2nd and 9.
Will Dearborn snap it one more time before the end of the first quarter? They don't have to.
Doesn't look like they will.
And they're going to let the first quarter run out. Those of you who had Super Bowl squares, 7-0 Shamrocks. That is our score at the end of the first. Through 12 minutes of play, Lee Krieger's 17-yard scamper. The only points on the board. Don't go anywhere. Second quarter action coming right up. You're listening to the Shamrock Media Network.
Hi, my name is Steven Yunchai. I'm the head esports coach at Catholic Central, and I graduated in 2018. So there's a bunch of different sport titles, I guess, in esports, which are competitive video games. So you have 5 or 6 different games that we play, and we play them against other schools in the surrounding area and sometimes out of state as well. We offer a variety of different game titles at the school, and it changes each year depending on what's big and what's new and what's exciting.
And so 2nd down and 9. Dearborn flipping sides of the field here to start the second quarter. Elsersea in the gun, giving to Chami, and no gain on the play. Isan Chami once again met by the front 7 of the Shamrocks, Aiden Quinn, Kyle Ewing, Danilo Gubernich all in on the stop.
And if Dearborn's going to move the ball down the field, at some point they're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, if they're not going to be able to advance in the air, it's going to be a long night.
No gain on the play, it's 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, we talked about how impressive this front 7 is between Cheney and Rogowski on the edge, Gubernich and Rutherford the tackles. Owen Brown in there right now, and then those 3 linebackers.
It'll be 3rd down and 8 from the Pioneers 17.
Really hard to move the ball with that front 7. You know, they could exploit the secondary being a little bit banged up. Heaving it deep down the sideline and not even catchable. River Cheney in coverage. Looks like Josh Rood is going to stay on the sideline for the majority of this one. Haven't seen him quite out there yet. Nice stop by Cheney. 4th down and 17. Pioneers will punt it.
Yeah, 3 drives, 3 punts. That's not how you want to start the season. If you're Dearborn, they're going to have to figure something out on the offensive side. The Shamrock defense has been really impressive in this first quarter and the first minute of the second.
And this one is a pooch kick out of bounds, landing just before the 40-yard line, not wanting to give Samson Gash a chance to return after the damage he did last time. And now the Shamrock offense getting their best field position start. They're going to start inside enemy territory. Only a 22-yard punt.
It'll be 1st and 10 Shamrocks from the Dearborn 37.
Krieger will get a break after playing on both sides. Cam Lloyd is the running back here. Trips bunch set to the right of Bo Jackson. Samson Gash alone at the top. Jackson faking to give. It's a jet sweep. Gash finding space, cutting up field, and brought down by Sereni, but not after getting even further into Dearborn territory, just mere inches away from a 1st down.
Looks like they're going to give it to him.
I've been really impressed with their utilization of Gash and kind of exploiting Dearborn's secondary and using Gash's speed to their advantage.
I'd like to see a deep shot from the Shamrocks on this play. It's really a touchdown on this play would really help just keep this momentum going, especially with a new coach, new season. I mean, only one deep safety right now for Dearborn.
They give him the first down, and the first down carry goes to Cam Lloyd. Brought down from behind by Glenn Skurlock Jr., a junior for the Pioneer defense, coming in behind the shoestring tackle. 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. Shamrocks leading 7-0 over the Pioneers and threatening to score once again.
I know it's early on, but this has just been such a different game from that playoff game last December. November?
October, late October.
October?
Jackson in the gun, looking left, throwing a fade for Kitchen, in and out of his hands. Great coverage. Little underthrown from Jackson, but Jacob El Hassan hustling to knock that out of Kitchen's hands.
I think that pass was right on the money. Just went through Kitchen's hands. But I like that play call a lot. No, I think
that ball was on the money.
I think if the Shamrocks run the ball here, that's kind of indicating that they're going to go for it on fourth. And it looks like
here we go.
This jumbo set.
Jumbo wham set. They give us to Pyden, runs off the left guard, and he's got the first down. Pyden was utilized in that Wildcat set last year. That was like a 99% success rate from goal to go.
That was the one formation last year when it was first and goal from the 3, from the 4. You almost expected a touchdown when Pyden got the snap. Now using it more, running back hitting him off. Looks like they're just going to keep pounding it right down Dearborn's throat here.
Jackson instead giving to, well, it's Pyden again, and Pyden's so strong. Just carries a few defenders with him inside the 10-yard line to the 6.
Krieger, the ball carrier.
Oh, Krieger on the carry.
Stopped in the play by Adam Hazzini.
And no substitutions imminent here. Just going to keep pounding it right down the middle.
Brings up second.
You had one with Pyden, one with Krieger. Fumbled snap. Lloyd picks it up, and they'll take the lost yards here. Maybe a bit of a penalty here for going too fast.
Brought down by Kyle Singleton.
Just a miscue there.
And so now third down, still no substitutions. There is no wide receivers on the field. Rogowski and Casimir Moyer, the tight ends, and now Dearborn will use their final timeout of the first half. With 8:17 left to play in the first half, a big 3rd down and 2 upcoming. Coming out of the timeout, Catholic Central switching that formation. They got Gash and Genrich in the slot. Lloyd is the lone back. Jackson in the shotgun, giving it to Lloyd. Lloyd finding space, untouched for the 7-yard touchdown. Cameron Lloyd.
And that's just a show of brute force by Catholic Central on those 4 or 5 plays. Running it right down the middle in that power set with 3 backs. impressive start to the season so far.
Get another look right here. Lloyd just finding right between the A-gap and cruising into the end zone. 13 Bagel. Shamrocks early and often.
So far, Catholic Central 13 carries as a team, 111 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Establishing the ground game. Metegan kick is up and good. 13-0 becomes 14-0. Shamrocks dominating both sides of the ball in the early going. 8:13 to play in the second quarter. You're listening to the Shamrock Media Network. Some scores around the state in the nearby area. West Bloomfield leading Chippewa Valley 14-7. Top 11 matchup right there. Earlier in the day, Lake Orion beating Livonia Stevenson 54-33. Only a few games on tonight. Dakota leading Fordson 14-0 in the second quarter. Few games going on at the big house. We saw Walled Lake Western take down Waterford Mott 42-27. Waterford Mott ranked 1 spot ahead of the Shamrocks in the rankings.
For the 4th time in this first half, Teagan will kick it deep to Dearborn. 3rd time. Bad math.
Good time's a charm. And Metegan deep to Sod will field it from the 8. Kickoff defense has been stout, and all of a sudden there goes Sod, and Metegan is going to make the game-saving tackle.
A little too early, and the kick defense has been sound.
Kickers are athletes too.
Sod fields the kickoff from his own 10-yard line, tripped up by Jake Metegan.
Who is that kicker in the NFL?
Fans once again, license number ESN.
Is it maybe Zane Gonzalez? I just remember one of the kickers in the NFL just laying out a kick returner.
I'm just remembering when Antonio Brown just kicked the
Punter.
kicked the punter in the head from Cleveland on his punt return.
The tow truck is there.
Handoff to Chami. Busts off his longest run of the game. It's positive yardage, so it's a good sign for Dearborn's offense. Maybe finally getting it together after a pretty abysmal start with 3 3-and-outs.
And they have not been able to cross midfield yet. We'll see if this is the play that Dearborn can get into Shamrock territory.
I think the tip of the ball might be over the 50-yard line mark. It's the senior Elsercy in the shotgun. Taking the snap and giving to Chami. He's been busy. Cuts it back. Gets a push from behind, but he's going to be 1 yard shy of the chains.
3rd and 1.
Crucial 3rd and 1.
Stopped on the play by Jaden Pyden. Gain of 4. It's 3rd down.
Dearborn hoping to convert on 1st down for the first time tonight. Elsercy, high snap, gives to Chami, and he is met at the line.
They're going to give it.
Yeah, this is going to be a 1st down.
Chami, the ball carrier.
Like Owen Brown and Rogowski combined for the stop, but they only needed a few inches.
Short gain on the play, good for a Pioneers 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 Dearborn for the Shamrock 45.
So 1st down from the 45, 6:22 to play in the first half. Give is to Chami, getting out wide, flag. That's going to be holding on 58. Yusuf Mustafa, the right tackle,
We'll see what the Shamrocks
pulling on
elect to do.
Rutherford.
Sanche, the ball carrier.
And Cam Lloyd now comes out of the pile banged up, limping off the field.
That's not a good sign.
Really not a good sign.
Holding on the offense.
And so Connor Ryan runs on the field, sophomore. Will repeat. Lloyd can't even make it off the field.
Move the ball back 10 yards
And
from
the
previous
officials,
spot. We'll pause for an injury timeout.
just not what you want to see there. A new MHSAA rule, all penalties are from the previous spot, no longer spot fouls.
New for 2023. On a hold penalty in the backfield, the ball is placed
Makes more sense
10
than
yards
the
from
previous
the
rule.
previous spot, not 10 yards from where the foul takes place.
I mean, that could lead to a 14-yard penalty on a holding.
45.
Lloyd will head to the training station.
Deep in the backfield, then really good.
I just hate to see that. One of the most likable guys.
A really good speech today at the assembly.
Yes, sir. And so it's Elser C backing up, all-out blitz, maybe a little bit of a jersey tug, dumps it off, and Chami somehow comes away and gets not only positive yardage, but he's actually going to get past the initial line of scrimmage, a pickup of 11 yards.
So Dearborn gets their first passing yards there. But they just sent their entire offensive line to the right side to block on that screen pass. The Shamrocks just weren't able to get to the quarterback in time to force the incompletion or even get a sack. And Chami will bring it right back, and it'll be 2nd and 10, almost as if they had deferred the penalty.
Yeah, the old slip screen there. Of course, if Dearborn can't get that pass off, that's a 10-yard loss. Elser C moving up, throwing wide open across the middle is Hussein Hami up to the 31-yard line. Flags coming in. Really late flag.
El Cersei's pass complete to Hussein Hemi.
Cessante motioning for his team to back up off the sideline. First offense, no penalty, just a warning. Second offense, we saw this in the DeWitt game, maybe Chippewa, one of the games. Multiple sideline
we did.
interference.
I believe it was the Chippewa game.
It was early
Here.
too.
First and 10 Dearborn from the Shamrock 30.
Lloyd getting that ankle taped. Elser C giving to Chami, who's met instantly. No chance for Chami to get going. Stone Chaney meets him in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Stone Chaney. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. This is the most effective that Dearborn has been on the offensive side of the ball all night. We approach the 5-minute mark in the second quarter.
We saw Elser C convert 2 passes now, drops back again, moves up, and on the tackle for Catholic Central is Zane Beydoun.
El Cersei called his own number on that play. Stopped on the play by Zane Beydoun. Short gain. It's 3rd down.
Huge third down here. Dearborn really needed to generate some offense before this halftime already putting themselves in the hole by having to play defense first out of the second half. In the gun is Elsersea. Takes the snap, looking, throwing short, up top, Hammy brought it in. Generous spot from the ref, and he's going to call for a first down.
Almost appears as if they gave him forward progress from the catch, but he caught it and came back across the line, so it doesn't really make sense to give the forward progress there.
That's now 4 first downs on the drive.
This is just a completely new offense for Dearborn. I mean, before they had just been running it every play, unable to really muster anything, and now using the air as a weapon into the red zone.
Chami just running straight into Kale Rogowski. He didn't even have to move on that one. They run it direct inside zone straight into Rogowski.
It did not work. It did not work.
Ineffective, but Dearborn is milking the clock. CC's offense will not get enough time here to be comfortable. They're going to have to go quick when they get the ball back. Second down at 12 on the Rogowski tackle for loss. They mark it at the 22-yard line. Takes the snap and giving to Chami.
Nothing.
Shouldering off of Cheney, but brought down by Genrich and Quinn. A gain of 1, and Chami up to 11 carries on the day for just 14 yards.
It's third down.
And bottom of the screen, Hussein Hami's been the recipient of 2 of the 3 completed passes by this Dearborn offense. 2:18 in running to play. Third down and 12. The DB's back off press coverage, looking Hami's way, throwing a jump ball deep to the end zone, and that pass is hauled in for the touchdown. Hussein Hami. And the Grok spike, and Dearborn is on the board.
There is a flag, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a push-off from the back, but could also be defensive pass interference.
Pass complete to Hussein Hami.
Chain crews are not moving. See what the call is.
Flags on the play.
Offensive pass interference on Hussein Hami. So take the touchdown off the board.
Offensive pass interference.
Great throw there by Elserly, though.
It was a great play by the receiver, too, just unable to keep his hands off the back of Genrich.
10-yard penalty. It remains.
And usually the referees will be pretty relaxed with how they're calling it in receiver-cornerback matchups. When you fully extend your arms against the back of the defender, you're going to get that called every time, especially since Genrich got his head turned around. Might have been a different story if he had been facing the receiver.
Yeah, this is really an interesting defensive setup. 2 deep safeties on the same side of the field here. Really just keying in on Hussein Hami. Elserly takes the snap, looking to throw the other way, and Cheney was beat. Corey Johnson unable to haul it in. It was a little bit above his outstretched hand, and 2 breaks for the secondary there.
Yeah, and he had a touchdown too. He was wide open, just beat Cheney. Looks like Cheney might have been injured on the play.
They took a gamble and left 2 deep safeties on the same side of the field, cleared that whole side of the field. Good play call by Dearborn. They're going to leave the offense on the field. But before we get the play, we have a injury timeout. River Cheney is the injured Shamrock on the field. So we will momentarily step away. 14-0 Shamrocks on the Shamrock Media Network.
I really like this call by Dearborn. I mean, you haven't been able to get really anything going on offense. Just got to take advantage of this. Probably out of range for a field goal. Be about 47, 48 yards. Gonna need a lot. As we saw, like, the Shamrocks went for it on 4th and long. They were able to get 11 yards, but just were so far behind the chains, it wasn't enough.
Now Hami at the top of the screen. Elserly looking his way, throwing a jump ball deep, and that pass is broken up. That's Austin Kersey filling in for the injured Josh Rude. I mean, that ball was underthrown. Kersey, heck of a job there to knock it out of his hands, and now CC gets to showcase the old 2-minute drill.
It was underthrown, but that was perfect coverage, textbook right there from Kersey. I mean, you run with the guy, and once you see his head turn for the ball, you turn your head around as well.
It's like Cheney maybe cramping. River Cheney, of course.
Some good news. Looks like Cam Lloyd is on the field right now.
And he'll line up in the slot. 5 receivers for the Shamrocks on first down. Jackson in the gun, takes the snap, looks short, passes deflected at the line, caught by Cam Lloyd.
Really good job by him.
Pummeled by Brady Isaacson almost instantaneously.
See, what the Dearborn defense should have done there is once they saw that they had knocked that pass up into the air, is they should have covered the receivers and not allowed them to make a play at the ball. So there's no pass interference once it's tipped.
4-yard gain. Cam Lloyd's going to make the 4-yard gain. Looked like nothing, picking up a first down. Gain of 7. And this duo of Cam Lloyd and Lee Krieger, very impressive out the gates. 1:21 to play. Coach Cessante working with just 2 timeouts. Jackson in the gun, looking, throwing to the sideline, caught by Genrich, a little 5-yard out route.
Nate, and something you want to see, especially going into the second half, is them to be able to more consistently move the ball through the air downfield. I mean, only 7 passes, 4 completions, only 22 yards through the air. 27, excuse me. But when you got the running game going like you do, you also don't want to take it out of the back's hands.
Jackson gonna go down the sideline, overthrown. Intended target was Gash.
Looks like Gash slowed down, maybe thought it was going to be more of an out route, but Jackson kind of let him downfield. A little bit of miscommunication. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Gash looks a little uncomfortable. He's grabbing at that left calf. And he signaled the trainer over. So 3rd down and 6. Nico McBride lines up at the top. Genrich is in the slot at the top. Nico Genrich in the slot at the bottom with Nathan Semp. Lee Krieger is the featured back. Jackson in the gun. Takes the snap. Looks Semp's way. Had a man beat. Makes the catch. Semp cuts upfield. And all the way to the 15-yard line. He's not going to get away with that. I saw that. He ran out of bounds unattended, and this one's going to come back. Unless this is pass interference and he was shoved out of bounds. But that was reminiscent of his older brother making that spectacular sideline catch, Boys Bowl, 2 years ago.
Owen Semp, the leading receiver on that squad 2 seasons ago.
38 on the play. 1st and 10, Shamrocks from the Pioneers 14. There is a flag on the play.
Looks like the Shamrocks are starting to move back. See what the call
Or could
is.
they be asking if this is really refs huddled on the coaching staff, and the offense has made their way back to the initial spot. Dearborn's lined up on defense at the 15. CC's lined up at offense at their own 44.
It's an interesting strategy on 3rd and 6 to play that far deep.
And they start the run. So 3rd down, and looks like it's going to be, wow.
I'm guessing you're right. I think it was an illegal contact.
Hefty penalty.
But that should not be a 10-yard penalty. Not sure.
Seb turns a 30-yard gain into a 10-yard loss.
That's tough because he beat his receiver down the right sideline. Maybe,
Well
that's
placed.
why he beat the receiver.
Well placed ball by Jackson.
From their own 37.
Yeah, it seems like he underthrew it a little bit, but I think he did that on purpose because of the safety over top and because he overthrew the guy in the last play. But, I mean, put it right on the money. It's going to be 3rd and about 17 here.
40 seconds, and now we have yet another flag. Pre-snap movement has been a real issue for both teams tonight. And the
Flag on the play.
false start.
Receiver on the offense. We'll replay 3rd down.
.39 seconds left in the first half. Catholic Central leading 14-0. Jackson lining up in the shotgun, 3rd down and 21. Krieger to his right. He'll throw a short screen pass for Nico McBride, who is going to lose 2 yards.
Should just run the clock here. No need to even punt it unless Dearborn. But no, Dearborn doesn't have a timeout, so no, just run the clock out.
This will signal the end of the first half. And so,
It's a 4th down. Shamrocks
Coach Justin Cesante's first half as the head coach of Catholic Central. They hold Dearborn to just
correction. They'll run out
40
the clock.
total yards in the first half.
Most
and
of them
they-
on that last drive.
Yeah, and they take a 14-0 lead into the break. Touchdowns from Cam Lloyd of 7 yards and Lee Krieger of 17. We will see you in just a short 20 minutes for the start of the 3rd quarter. Catholic Central will return the second half kickoff. We will see you in 20 minutes. You're listening to Catholic Central Football on the Shamrock Media Network.
Hi, my name is Steven Yunchai. I'm the head esports coach at Catholic Central, and I graduated in 2018. So there's a bunch of different sport titles, I guess, in esports, which are competitive video games. So you have 5 or 6 different games that we play, and we play them against other schools in the surrounding area and sometimes out of state as well. We offer a variety of different game titles at the school, and it changes each year depending on what's big and what's new and what's exciting. So some of the ones that are really cool right now are Rocket League and Super Smash Bros, which are currently in season. So Rocket League is a 3-on-3 car soccer game. It's very much similar to a real sport. And Smash Bros is a 1-on-1, like a Street Fighter type game, which is also very cool. And then we also offer Valorant, Overwatch, and a couple other games as well. I think it's the same exact standard that we set for everything here at Catholic Central. It's kind of funny to see how, even though it's esports, the guys just take it super seriously. I mean, they're super competitive. They want to win every match, and they're always telling me like, hey, we want to play better competition. We want to go further. We want to do more, and it's exciting to see. So the season kind of works as a 8-week season with 1 week as a bye week. So we actually play 7 games through regular season. The best 32 teams for Smash Brothers make it to playoffs, and then the best 16 teams for Rocket League make it to playoffs. Fortunately, we made it to both playoffs, and this past week we played the quarterfinal match, which thankfully both teams ended up winning, and now we're getting to play at Oakland University for the semifinals.
Let's go, CC! Let's win!
Challenging them today will be Detroit Catholic Central. They have a regular season match record of 7 wins, 1 loss. Game record of 23 wins and 4 losses, and they were the number 2 seed in the playoffs, defeating Nassau Island, Belleville, and Davis.
Well, it was a great weekend here at MHSCL playoff tournament. We were able to bring 2 teams here, our Smash team and also our Rocket League team. It's pretty competitive for sure, but that's one thing that we kind of like. So if you're looking and interested in esports, definitely putting in some time into it definitely helps making your chances at playing at some of these larger competitions. Obviously, we also accept kids that are a little bit lower level too, and they can come and train with us and get better. But it's really fun once you get out here in person, the crowd, the atmosphere. It's really a fantastic thing to be a part of. Esports is all year round, so we have things coming up after winter break. We'll be playing in the same exact tournament/league once again. Really fun weekend. The Smash Brothers team ended up being a semifinalist, came out in 4th place, top 4 in the state. And also Rocket League made it to the championship match against Divine Child. Unfortunately, we lost, but it was a really close game. Really good positives from the team. It's a really young squad, so we're really looking forward to the years to come with those guys. Just love to see how the kids develop from freshman year all the way to senior year. It's really cool to see their development, not only as players, but also as young men. And I'm really just proud to be a part of it.
We're very proud and excited to announce our latest development as CC. It'll be a new STEM wing. This new development, the STEM wing, will give us more opportunities to enrich the learning experience of our students.
It's going to house 8 different labs. We're going to have an observatory. We're going to have a dedicated greenhouse. We're going to have a robotics space and a maker space. We need to upgrade, and this is the perfect way to upgrade for us.
If there's an opportunity to do something better, we have a responsibility as educators to do that for our students.
This space will be something that we'll be able to utilize for the next 50, 60 years with whatever new technology or whatever comes down the road. This is a difference maker. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a difference in every student that comes to Catholic Central, and I couldn't be more excited not only for our current students, but especially for our future students.
Right now you're watching our field goal competition. So we have a student from each grade competing for a JBL Party Box speaker.
Around the nearby league, De La Salle leading Davison in the second quarter. The lefty quarterback Sante Gasparoni hitting Damian King for a 7-0 lead. De La Salle there. And we have Chippewa Valley and West Bloomfield knotted up in a 14-14 tie at halftime. Saline leading Brighton 21-3 midway through the second quarter. Seaholm on Bloomfield Hills, they lead 20-7. Granville leading Grand Blanc 14-0.
I'd like to congratulate senior Godin Vartanian for winning the field goal contest at halftime.
Just about 2 minutes away from second half action. It'll be Catholic Central returning the second half kickoff. Bo Jackson in the first half, 5 completions on 10 attempts for 25 yards. Showed really nice poise. Great accuracy in the first half. You saw him hit Semp down the sideline. That play was called back. You saw him hit Nico McBride twice in stride. Both of those plays ending in drops. And then the combination of Cameron Lloyd and Lee Krieger. Cameron Lloyd, 7 carries, 41 yards and a touchdown. Lee Krieger, 3 carries, 44 yards and a touchdown. Again, just 9 months ago, Catholic Central and Dearborn meeting in the playoffs, capped off by Jack Davis's clutch interception in overtime, and Catholic Central, or not in overtime, in the fourth quarter, and Catholic Central would win it 26-21. Evan Hager pounding the ground, 172 yards and a touchdown. And they shut out the Pioneers in the second half, and they've now shut them out for 4 straight quarters. The CC leading 14-0.
That was one of those games where it felt like they were outplayed, outmatched on the field, but just found a way to win that game and move on. And then they were able to win the district final against Northville before falling to the eventual state champion Belleville Tigers.
Coldest game I've ever attended. Snowing, 10 degrees, and I wore barefoot flip-flops. And now know what hypothermia feels like after that. Second half kickoff is way out of bounds. Clackey not even close.
Trying to avoid the Shamrock return men, but it backfired there.
We see this time and time again. I mean, first it was Owen Semp 2 years ago, kick away from Semp. Last year was kick away from Blakita. And now this season, Samson Gash has already developed a name for himself after just 1 return.
Also, John Almeida back there, and they're kicking away from him as well.
Yeah, Almeida, very agile. And so CC will start 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Have that solidified QB1 spot, whereas last year you'd see back and forth between him and Skyler. You know, Bo Jackson emerging last year as the quarterback QB1, and he's held on to that spot and doing a fine job. Fine young man. 24 minutes to play in this one. We're halfway through in the first snap of the second half. Jackson in the shotgun gives to Cam Lloyd, who is greeted at the line of scrimmage by Mahdi Sabah. And the junior for Dearborn coming in at 5'11", 225. Wrestling Lloyd to the ground, a short gain of just about a yard. Give him a 2-yard gain. Second down and 8.
See, I'm interested what Cesante's approach is going to be in this second half. Is he going to keep pounding the rock, just forcing Dearborn to attempt to stop it? Is he going to try to open the playbook up and go
Rolling
deep?
out. Jackson has Genrich wide open. Genrich pushing forward, stumbles, stays on his feet, and hard hit delivered there at the end of the play. He's going to get 15 more. That was just a stupid hit.
Yeah, Genrich was already being forced out of bounds. Just got planted.
Evan Fensel clueless at the end of the play on a defenseless Genrich, running away from that. So that'll tack on 15 more.
Easily the most explosive pass of the night for Bo Jackson.
You kind of get that misdirection bootleg. Had all the receivers trail to one side of the field, and then Genrich comes back to the right side.
So 33-yard gain, I believe, and it's about 15 are going to be tacked on at the end. See, it looks like the refs are still discussing that.
Longest completion of the day for Bo Jackson. Refs still gathered here. Coach Alex Grignon of the Dearborn Pioneers. They're trying to evaluate what to do with Fensel's late hit.
Because if they're saying he stepped out of the 37, that appears to be the indication. That's an even worse hit, as that was about 5 yards down the field.
Are we looking at, oh, we're looking at 2 penalties here. We have a block in the back, and we have a late hit personal foul on Fensel.
So that would make it.
Well, see, the thing about this is this offsetting, because the block in the back would have occurred during the play.
But it looks like they moved it down to the 32. So I'm wondering if they said the block in the back was during the play and then called a personal foul after the play. So Shamrocks netted 5 from
10
it.
yards back for the block in the back and 15 forward.
Yeah.
So you net 5 yards,
That's my guess.
26-yard completion for Bo Jackson. And then we have the jumbo set. Lloyd in the middle, Krieger to the left, and Piden to the right, 20, 22, and 21. And a flag.
Looks like 75
Neutrals.
for Dearborn might have been in the neutral zone there.
Flag on the play, encroachment on the defense, and move the ball 5 yards from the previous spot. The first down and 5. For the Pioneers, 27.
It'll be 1st and 5. I think the play is it got wide open space to that left side.
That's where they run. Piden pushing forward. Piden breaking a tackle. And into that red zone. Piden getting to the 17-yard line. 10-yard gain. He only needed 5. And that'll keep the chains moving for the Shamrocks.
That undersized front for the Pioneers has just not been able to stop Catholic Central from that jumbo set.
Gain of 9 on the play. First down, Shamrocks from the Pioneers 18.
They're going to stay in it here.
Jackson under center. Takes the snap, fakes the give, play action, rolling out, looking, finding Piden, makes a man miss, cuts back. Piden breaks another tackle. Piden all the way down to the 1-yard line. where he's finally wrestled to the ground by Adam Hazim. Flags thrown. And this will go on the offense. Penalties just tallying up for the Shamrocks tonight.
I like the play design a lot, though. I mean, they've been running it out of that set so effectively. They were able to sneak Pyden out of the backfield. I'm wondering if it was a hold or what the call is going to be here.
Block in the back.
Block in the back. Should be first and 20 if they're going from the spot. Or if they're going from the line of scrimmage.
Previous spot.
It must have done it from the spot of the foul then.
Oh, block, maybe block different.
I don't
Very rare 1st and 11. The give is to Krieger. Krieger carrying 2 men with him up to the 15. Gain of 4 on the play for the dual sport athlete. Also a wrestler. Was on that state champion wrestling team last year. His dad was a big-time wrestler at the school. Also won a state championship. Catholic Central leading 14-0, 9:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 7 from the 15-yard line. Cam Lloyd is the running back. Jackson turns, fakes it, throws it short. He's got Pyden. Pyden with running room. Pyden diving out of bounds to the 3-yard line. Jackson took a hard hit at the end of the play from Fentzel.
And although Jackson hasn't been lighting it up on the stat sheet so far, I've really been impressed with his poise in the pocket. Hasn't been rushed, hasn't been making rash decisions, even escaping when he saw the pocket crash earlier on in this game. Not a lot of passing yards, but it's been impressive.
And this is where CC will pound the ball into the ground. Cam Lloyd forward. Did he get in? He did not. Just inches short. And will we see the rare Bo Jackson rushing touchdown with the Optigo QB sneak?
We'll see. It's like,
all right, we're going to go jumbo set here. You take Krieger. I've got Lloyd. The give is to Lloyd. And it's
offside. Why would they? I'm surprised they blew it dead. That should have been a free play. He wasn't making a run at the quarterback. I think that's a mistake. So it's going to go from the 5-inch line to the 2.5-inch line there. Yeah, I'm surprised. Usually that would be a free play for the offense if they're late trying to rush someone off from the sideline.
Again on 2nd and goal, Cam Lloyd getting help from his left guard. Actually, Pyden pushing him in. Cameron Lloyd, 2nd touchdown of the night, and Catholic Central extends the lead. It's now 20-0.
And this is very similar, although the play style and formation's been very different from last year. I mean, last year was a team that ran the ball really effectively. 7.2 yards per carry as a team. I'd say that's pretty effective.
And that may be the best drive of the whole game. Shamrock starting from their own 35 and going the length of the field in 3.5 minutes, finishing it with the Cam Lloyd 1-yard touchdown run. 2nd of the game. Snap. And the hold, and Metegan remains perfect. Shamrocks with a gold number, 21-0. They lead over the Pioneers of Dearborn. We take a look at that Cam Lloyd touchdown run one more time before the kickoff. Just finding that space. I'd like to think I could run it in from 3 inches off the end zone.
I saw this interesting debate It was, would you rather take $10,000 guaranteed or be able to play a full-length NFL game and get $100,000 for every yard you gain?
So what happens if you get a negative yard? Do you
Yeah,
lose it
you
all?
lose the money. You get 0.
You have to pay up if you.
I think my strategy would be try to run a quarterback sneak, gain 1 yard, and then fake an injury and take my 100K.
So Metegan has gotten used to kicking off to Dearborn. It's Saad and Johnson on the left side of the field, deep to return. And Metegan's kick is booted all the way to the 2-yard line. And tackles made by Nico McBride at the 14-yard line.
And that was really good coverage from him. He was the gunner all the way down on that far sideline, and he set the edge and then closed in. Allowed nothing on that return.
Score update from De La Salle and Davison. Phoenix Glassner with a 45-yard touchdown. De La Salle, a CHSL Central opponent, leading Davison 14-0 at the break. And Saline also leading Brighton 21-3 at the break as well. Back to the game here at the Elm. Dearborn had one solid drive, which was stunted by an offensive pass interference penalty. And it's back to Chami here to start the Dearborn offensive second half. Short gain, running right side.
It's not Chummy, the ball carrier. Stopped on the play by Cal Rutherford. Gain of 2 brings up second down and 8.
Chami again. And it'll bring up third down and short for the Pioneers. 7:34 play in the third quarter. Dominant defense all game long from the Shamrock front seven. Secondary hasn't been tested as much.
Critical play here.
It's Hussein Hammy in the gun. Takes the snap. Actually, it's not Hammy. Hammy makes the catch, and Hammy has a first down. That's a different quarterback. Dearborn going to the trio now. Daniel Kent is taking snaps.
That's just a missed tackle on the edge. You gotta be able to convert there, especially when the throw is short of the sticks.
Kersey with a nice stop. But Dearborn gaining a first down, moving it up to the 29-yard line.
Fair to say we saw Murphy get hurt earlier in the game on a punt return. He is not dressed anymore and wearing a sling. I think we can fair to say he's out for the rest of this one.
Inside Jamie, the ball carrier. Brought down the play by Aiden Quinn. Loss on the play, second down and 11 from the Pioneers 28.
Fair assumption. Loss of 1 on the play. Daniel Kent, the new Dearborn quarterback. He's got 3 wide receivers to his left side. Saad coming in motion. Takes the snap. Give it to Chami, and how about Cheney? And I mean, 7 or 8 blue jerseys in the backfield. Stone Cheney going to get credit for the tackle for loss.
He's been really impressive tonight. That's his 3rd or 4th tackle for loss and a sack.
Just a matchup nightmare for the Pioneer offensive line. So Ken in the shotgun, 3rd down and 15 from the 24. Looks, throws quick. There's nobody there. Saad running with his back to the ball. Cheney and Rogowski getting pressure on Kent. And that will signal the punt team on the field.
I mean, Dearborn just, they had that one drive before the half where they went for it on 4th inside the 30-yard line for the Shamrocks. But other than that, they just have not been able to move the ball downfield. And it's been total dominance from the Shamrock team on both sides of the ball, specifically in that front 7 on either side.
Jaden Pyden was back deep this time. And you talked about it. We talked about it earlier at the assembly. Coach Cessante trying to rile up that crowd at the assembly to get out, and they have showed out in a big way. One of the best student section turnouts we've seen, and just the excitement, you can feel it inside this stadium. And so it's Jackson under center. Almeida is the featured back. Fakes to give. Jackson airing it out over the middle, and pass is nearly intercepted. Jacob El Hassan.
Yeah, that almost looks like it was a design play. It was going to be a deep shot right there, and even though he was double covered, unless Bo just didn't see the safety there, but very easily could have been the first turnover of the night for either side.
And clean football. But
2nd and 10 Shamrocks from their own 47.
And so they go to the I formation out of the huddle on 2nd down and 10. Genrich at the top, Kitchen at the bottom. Pyden the fullback.
I like that
John
matchup.
Almeida gets his first varsity carry and spins off a defender.
I like that matchup with Nico on the top, with one corner there and the safety kind of shading more towards the bottom side of the field. I'd be surprised if they look towards him here on 3rd down.
Harps off from the student section. 5:05 to play.
Just inside Dearborn territory.
Good to see Almeida getting a drive here. In the pistol. Jackson takes the snap. Fakes to give to Almeida over the middle. Kitchen.
Surprised. Looks like got away with a little bit of a hold there. It was Jacob El Hassan in coverage. Looks like he got a little tug of Kitchen's jersey as he reached for the ball.
Well, so you know what that means. We get to see the punter / linebacker Kyle Ewing. We have seen some mammoth punts from Ewing.
It's going to be the first time they've had to do it this evening from the Dearborn 49.
Ewing with a rocket. Saad is going to field this from the 4. Makes a man miss. Saad, huge speed, crossing over the 42-yard line. That play is set up by Sereni's monstrous block of Jack Wilczewski, and it's a 37-yard return for Saad.
And I thought he was making a big mistake returning it from the 3-yard line, especially with as much of a line drive as that punt was. But he just showed his speed there, returning it for about 40 yards and giving Dearborn some new life. See if that can jumpstart this Pioneer offense.
First and 10 CC from the 43.
Student section uproarious here. 4:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. Dearborn needing to get some offense started here. Throwing a deep ball. Got a man, and it is intercepted. The junior DeAndre Green with a whole field of green in front of him. To the 30. Cut off at the 26-yard line. Have a day, DeAndre Green.
He just read that pass all the way as the safety. We'll take a second look at it here.
I mean, he got the last laugh because earlier in that drive, he was getting chirped by one of the Dearborn players. And DeAndre Green high points it right out of the air.
And looks like we have a really, really late flag on the field. Might be after the play. Seemed so late.
What a moment for DeAndre Green, his first career varsity game, and he takes that one all the way back to the 26-yard line. This is going to go on Catholic Central, so they're going to pull it back.
Looks like,
Illegal block to call by the
so
offense.
I think the turnover will stand,
Blindside block.
Well, of course.
call.
but that'll move him back 15 yards for a blindside block.
Question by the
So
return team.
Green's return is wiped.
See, I thought the new rule was that it would be from the spot, but this is obviously not from the 30-yard line.
Maybe there is some exception.
So we saw that earlier when it was 1st and 11 for the Shamrocks after a block in the back.
Seems like the blocking penalties.
Must have to do with specifically holding and pass interference.
Wildcat Pyden is in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Quarterback power to the right side. Pyden, short gain, gets 2 yards.
Get Benny Azuka blocking there from that left guard position. He pushed his man about 13, 14 yards down the field. Really impressive.
El Hassanin on the stop. Called his name a few times tonight.
This offensive line, I mean, when you return 4 starters from a team that went into the regional semis last year, it's just such an advantage in the trenches like that. You can see, looking in college football and in the NFL, offensive line is one of the most crucial positions that you need to build.
We saw in 2021 when the offensive line was struggling, Declan Bile had no time to get the ball out. Last year, much improved, and this year it looks to be the strongest it has been. And now Jaden Pyden again on the quarterback keeper out of the Wildcat. Short gain, 1 yard. Brings up 3rd down and manageable. 3rd down and 7.
Andrew Kitchen comes limping off after that one. Looks like they're going to keep Pyden on the field. Wondering why they're not sending Bo in here. Maybe they're just trying to get Pyden some more snaps.
Well, Pyden, a starter in the outfield on the baseball team. He can sling it. He is the listed backup quarterback. And he's in the shotgun here. Motions Lloyd out. All alone. Quarterback draw. Pyden with a burst of speed. He's gone. 30, 20, 10, 5. That's a 60-yard touchdown run for Jaden Pyden. Shamrocks 27, Pioneers nothing.
Take back what I say there. Jaden Pyden with a really good read. Just that little delay, maybe sending Lloyd in motion to the left side, just froze that Dearborn front 7. He's able to just show off his speed right down the gut for 60 yards. And the Shamrocks are an extra point away from making this a 28-0 ball game.
Well, Cessante has certainly shown a masterful use of misdirection tonight. Mategan out to tack on the extra point. More to the holder. And the kick is up. It's straight through. And the Shamrocks have a 4-score lead at the Elm. 2:37 to play in the 3rd quarter. You are listening or watching to the Shamrock Media Network.
will receive deep for the Pioneers. Jake Matija to kick off for the Shamrocks.
Mategan sending it deep. Side once again the return man. He returns this. And luckily one of those feet was in the end zone.
Lands in the end zone.
And another flag here on that far side. I think it might be after the whistle on Dearborn.
And take a look at the road ahead for the Shamrocks. After this one, they'll have back-to-back games on the poor side of the border in Ohio against Toledo Central Catholic and Toledo St. Francis, 2 new additions to the Catholic League, before our next game here at the Elm. Well, they'll take on Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Tough schedule for the Shamrocks, but the new addition of CHSL teams should add a little bit of freshness to this schedule. And for Dearborn, they'll start that KLAA gauntlet next week.
And next week for Catholic Central is going to be probably arguably the toughest of the 3 Toledo teams. That Central Catholic roster pushing De La Salle for being the best squad in the division.
Of course, De La Salle back-to-back Division II state championships, and really has not been close. By the time they get to that championship, there's no team that is even going to compete with them. And so it's Daniel Kent in quarterback again. Here's a pitch to Chami, and Riz away from the initial tackle. Going to get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Hassan Chamey, the ball carrier. Brought down in the play.
Shamrocks leading 28-0 over the visiting Pioneers at the Elm. 2 minutes to play in this third quarter.
Second down and 10.
Pistol formation here. Kent takes the snap, looks right, throws, pass is nearly intercepted. DeAndre Green again jumping the route. He has looked impressive.
He's played well. He's played really well.
Interception and a pass breakup for Green tonight in his debut.
Could easily be two picks. Showed great poise out on the edge.
Hussein Hammy lined up at the bottom of the screen, being guarded by Krieger. Looking, Kent airing it out deep, underthrown. DeAndre Green is the closest man to the ball once again. Just ran out of room as Kent's pass sails over Green's head, and the Dearborn punt team has gotten pretty familiar with the field tonight.
Yeah, Dearborn has a 36% completion percentage through the air between the 2 quarterbacks and only 50 total yards of offense. Rushing the ball, they're averaging under a yard per carry.
So Gash, and they fake it, and he's going to pick up the first down. Coach Grignon digging deep into that playbook, and really a bold call in a game that is achieving blowout status. Shamrocks caught off guard, and Dearborn's gamble pays off as they pick up 12 yards.
See if Dearborn's able to turn that into any sort of momentum on this side of the ball.
First down Pioneers from their own 34,
Kent in the pistol again. Dearborn really going to need to start throwing the ball to get back in the game. It's Chami on the give. Let me know if you've heard this one before. Stone Chaney in the backfield along with Kyle Illing, and now a late flag comes in.
That was a little bit of a weak call. The running back pushed off of the Catholic Central defense swarming in, and they shoved him right back. But nothing egregious there. I think the refs are just trying to keep control of this one, as when games get this out of hand, sometimes it'll evolve into chaos.
Unnecessary roughness.
That's going to be a first down for Dearborn.
Gifting the Pioneers free yardage there.
Just cannot be giving them yards. Not be giving the team yards, especially when you have them pretty much as close to done as you can be at this point, with under a minute left in this third quarter.
So the Pioneers approach midfield with under a minute to play in this third quarter. Kent is the quarterback, takes the snap, looks, throwing deep, over the shoulder of Hamey, and not even close.
That's a terrible call. That ball was about 20 feet off the line. Not sure what the call is going to be here, but if that's a pass interference, that's pretty egregious. Just grasping at straws there.
I mean, you throw DeAndre Hopkins out there, he's not going to bring that in.
And they called a defensive holding, but you can't call a holding once the ball's already been thrown. So I'm really not sure what happened there. I mean, that ball was about 10 yards off the line, off that far sideline. There is nowhere near being catchable.
Dearborn has gone from 4th and 10 from their own 20 to 1st and 10 from the CC 44 after a fake punt and 2 penalties. Chaney and Owen Brown combined for the stop.
This on Chaney, the ball carrier, brought down the play by Stone Chaney. Loss on the play.
Looks like it's going to be.
Picks up 2nd and 12.
Looks like it may be the last play of this third quarter. Only 10 seconds left.
And that is going to end the third quarter. We conclude the third the same way we ended the second, with a shutout. Catholic Central still leads the Pioneers, this time by a score of 28-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds for the start of the final frame. Catholic Central leading 28-0 over Dearborn. So they flip the field here. Dearborn will now go towards the north end zone. It's Elsersee back in the game at quarterback, and he is going to keep it for a solid chunk.
I'm surprised they haven't used Sod out of the backfield yet tonight. I mean, with the guy with so much speed, especially in the return game, feels like you'd want to utilize that out of the backfield, try to get him as many touches as you can. I mean, I don't even think he has a reception.
No, only Chami and Hamey have receptions today. Hamey leading receiving for the Pioneers with 27 yards on 3 catches. Elsersee give to Chami, very close. That's a first down for Dearborn. Keep the chains moving. piecing together a solid drive here at the end of this game that should have been over a while ago.
Short gain result of the play is a Dearborn first down. The first and 10 Pioneers from the Shamrock 34.
And so first down and 10 from the 36-yard line. Takes the snap. Gives it to Chami. Chami with running room to the right side. Stiff arms off of Krieger. And picks up another first down.
It's not Jamie, the ball carrier. Brought down the play by Lee Krieger.
Ten minutes to play. Dearborn churning this clock down.
Looks like the chain crew began to move, but it'll be 2nd and 1 here.
Correction, short of the first down, it'd be second and 1.
They've gone run, run, run here. Wouldn't be surprised if they try and do something in the air, especially on 2nd and 1. It's the play you can take a shot. They stay on the ground. This time it's Kinter, and tackled there by Zane Beydoun.
Evan Betzel, the ball carrier.
There's a Shamrock down.
That's not good.
Especially this late in a game that's this wide of a margin. Never want to see injuries.
Looking towards the sideline.
Result of the play is a Pioneers first down. We'll pause for an injured player.
Could be just cramps.
Looks like his legs are stretched out right now.
And that is Lee Krieger.
He's had a great night.
Yeah, slow to get up, but able to walk on his own power off the field.
It's a good sign. Hopefully you're right. It's just cramping.
And so after the injury timeout, it's Dearborn on first down. Give is to Kinter, who is blindsided. That's Kale Rogowski wearing double 8s, coming off the edge, making the stop.
As you mentioned, he was starting left tackle for this team last year. But, I mean, moved to tight end on offense, and he's played really well off the edge.
From the Shamrocks 19.
Second down and 9 from the 19. Dearborn, perhaps their first trip in the red zone. 8:48 to play. Takes the snap. And that play was blown up at the line of scrimmage. Ball on the ground, and the Catholic Central Shamrocks recover it.
There were about...
Rogowski delivered the hit, and I think it was...
Well,
it was Drake Williard who scooped it up, brother of one of the CC football greats, Gavin Williard.
There were about three Shamrocks in the backfield who took that handoff before it was able to.
It's a good old read option, and really neither the running back nor the quarterback wanted to take that. And instead, Drake Williard says, "I'll take that."
We saw Pyden exclusively in the Wildcat last time out, but now Bo is back in this offense.
Swing pass here, and this has just been disastrous from the wide receiving corps today.
Definitely something that the team can work on. I mean, the running game has been very impressive, especially with an experienced offensive line. I mean, when you can just bully a team in the trenches like that. It's a great sign, but receivers and Bo just need to get on the same page with a lot of these. I mean, that's the third or fourth drop by Shamrocks so far. And Bo's only thrown 15 passes.
Hand it off to Almeida, running around the edge. Almeida spinning off a defender and getting to the 26, gain of 4
Almeida, the ball carrier.
for Almeida. Ups his total to 8 rushing yards on the night, and Catholic Central up over 200 yards on the ground tonight compared to just 66 yards through the air.
I mean, if you look at a formation like this right now from this defense, I mean, Dearborn doesn't have a deep safety. They have 8 guys in the box and 3 corners out wide. This is definitely a play you want to take a shot.
And they will. Jackson lining it up deep and just in between both Genrich and Kitchen. And like you mentioned before, just not really on the same page.
No. It almost looks like Bo was trying to lead him away from the defenders, and just Genrich or Kitchen, whoever was really intended for, didn't get the memo and kind of stayed along the hash marks. It's pretty good coverage from Dearborn, but definitely could have made a play there. Ewing on for the second time to punt this one away.
Late substitution, that's the long snapper Matthew Cranston. And Ewing to punt, deepest side. Good snap. Ewing with another solid punt. Side feels it from the 37, cuts upfield, makes a man miss. There goes Sod. One man to beat. Quinn catching up. Sod is going to run out of bounds untouched all the way to the Shamrock 22. So a net punt of -4 yards.
I think his 2 punt returns have accounted for more offense than Dearborn has had the entire game. I mean, it's the second time he's really flipped the field. I mean, that was a play where it looked like Dearborn would have the ball around their own 45. Instead, they're threatening the red zone.
So 7:31 to play in this one. 28-0 lead for the Shamrocks, but the Pioneers threatening one more time. Looks like an injured player along the sideline. It is a Pioneer. Oh, it is Sod. Looks like Sod might have hurt himself on the return.
Able to get off the field with a limp, but under his own power. Hope he's okay.
992. Winner to receive $1,065. 329-992. Go to the Dad's Club booth in the south end zone.
High snap. And Elser C, no gain on the play. Good tackle from Kyle Ewing.
Stopped on the play by Dio Baranich.
And now Elser C.
You know, the last game we called before this one was that Boys Bowl game against De La Salle. And this has just been almost the exact opposite of that game. I mean, Catholic Central's pretty much played how De La Salle played against them last year. It's not allowing any offense to get going.
Here is Kale Rogowski once again. About as blue and white as a family gets.
Loss on the play.
We get another look at Rogowski's tackle for loss.
In keeping up with that De La Salle analogy, there's another 88 for that De La Salle team last year, Mason Mergen, who had about 6 sacks in that one. Rogowski not that many, but he's been a force, along with Stone Chaney, Cal Rutherford, and the rest of that defensive front.
And now it's 3rd down and long. Pistol formation for the Pioneers. Corey Johnson in motion. Fakes it. Looks. Rolls left. Being chased by Chaney. No escape. Ferocious sack off the edge. That's the 2nd one of the game for Stone Chaney. And this one crushing to this drive.
Really displaying his speed on that play. Just tracking down Elsersey. Not allowing him. As we take a second look, just did not allow him to get away as he bootlegged towards that left side.
And that play never developed. Everyone covered well downfield. And this is last chance right here for Dearborn. 5.5 minutes to play. Needing 4 touchdowns.
Go to the Dad's Club booth to claim your winnings.
It'll be 3 receivers. Looks like we have officials timeout.
I mean, at this point, Dearborn's got to do whatever they can to try to get some offense going as they'll
They
stay
might
on the
not.
field here, 4th and 18.
They might not get the ball back the rest of the way.
If the Shamrocks play it right, they're going to try to run this clock down as much as they can.
And, oh, there it is. Oh, my gosh, there's lightning in the sky. The officials are pointing to the sky.
He's going to keep the game going.
So close to the end here. I hate to see it canceled so abruptly. So 4th and 18. Dropping back and throwing long for Green, and the pass is caught along the sideline. Brady Isaacson hauls it in. 8 offers for him, mostly D2, but he hasn't been targeted yet today, and he picks up a huge 1st down. Now Dearborn converting both of their last 4th downs, 4th and 10 at 4th and 18. Draw back to that fake punt, and now Dearborn just 3 yards away from punching it in.
It's a really impressive play there. The cornerback on that side got beat a little bit, but it wasn't terrible coverage. Just a really nice catch along the sideline. Great job, able to get the feet down.
Lining up under center. They give left side and touchdown Dearborn, Evan Fetzel. With 4:04 to play, Dearborn is on the board. Let's get another look at Fetzel just going off the left side.
And Dearborn, one of the few times today, just really out-muscled that Shamrock front and put 9 guys on the line of scrimmage.
And so the lefty kicker, Rami Faki, on to make this a 3-touchdown game. Snap is good, hold is good. Faki's kick straight down the center. Dearborn strikes in the 4th quarter. And we've got perhaps one more drive.
Fans, we are at risk of redrawing if nobody goes to the Dad's Club booth to claim their 50-50 ticket. That winning number is 329-992.
Important stat is Catholic Central trending to end their current 2-game opening losing streak. Losing both games to Chippewa Valley to open the last 2 seasons.
That first one was at Wayne State, and Cephas Harris ended up going to Youngstown State, I believe, just dominated at running back, receiver, returner for over 200 all-purpose yards.
He was closer to 300 than 200. Just absolutely insane display as we have a coaches meeting with the officials on the field.
That might be all for this one.
And Cessante shaking Grignon's hand. I guess this should probably signal the end of this one, as the player's safety will reign supreme above all else. And that is going to do it. 4 minutes early, but nevertheless a dominant win for Catholic Central. 28-7 the final score here from the Elm. We want to encourage everyone driving home to please drive safe. Stay off your phone. Don't drive distracted. And everyone stay safe and have a good night. We want to thank everyone for tuning in onto the live. Drop a subscription. Please subscribe if you want to see more content. We'll be back September 15th for Catholic Central versus St. Mary's. That's a Friday night, 7 p.m. We want to thank you all for tuning in. Francis Toma, the statistician, Hayden Salka on stream, Gage Phillip, Adamaraki on camera, Colin Harris on scoreboard design, and the rest of the Shamrock crew. I'm Josh Rothert.
I'm Lucas Drace.
And you are listening to the Shamrock Media Network. Good night, everyone.